Hi, I don't hear anything.
Looks like the town of Orono has their volume off.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're looking for me, Paula?
Okay, I hear somebody in the background.
That would be me.
That would be you.
Sophie. Yes, it would be.
Hey, of course. All right. Yes, I hear you. I don't hear town attorney. Yeah, I think he's muted. Not sure.
It most definitely is.
There it goes.
Yeah, I
And
think everyone was muted by default and lets you uncheck your mute.
okay, and board member Jane, you are muted for me anyway. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
me.
there you go. Okay. All right, so now I see Vice Chair Martin, Board Member Smith, Board Member Jane, Board Member Noyes, and a town attorney. Is that everybody?
Well, Sophie, do we know if we're expecting Mary Cathcart?
I have not heard that we are not expecting Mary Cathcart.
Oh. Well, let's just give her a couple minutes then.
I'm in an unusual location because my husband took the other charger and my computer died, and the charger that I'm using is stationary, and I'm like, oh. And so when Sophie wrote, this is being recorded, I'm like, oh no.
You look great. Don't worry.
Because
you
usually I'm
sound
sitting in the
fine.
office.
Vice Chair Martin, I guess we're all here. I think you can call the meeting, the continued meeting, back to order.
Yeah.
The continued meeting is called back to order to consider the decisions that have been presented to us that we have been drafted, and we shall review and do our final considerations. Roger?
Okay, okay. Well, why don't we take the two decisions in order? The first one being building permit number 20-098. For those of you who are listening elsewhere, at the conclusion of the board's, the first portion of the hearing a couple of weeks ago, I undertook to write a written decision that I felt incorporated the views of the board. I shared that with board members individually. I received comments back, incorporated those comments, and then sent out a final draft to all of you. I have shared a final draft with the attorneys for the two parties because they asked me to. So considering building permit number 20-98, it's probably in order to have a motion to accept that written decision, that decision as written. And we can get a second, and then we can discuss any changes as may be necessary.
Move to accept decision as written.
Second.
The motion having been moved and seconded, is there any discussion from members of the board? Okay. Hearing no discussion, Roger, is there anything else you want to say before we take a vote to accept the findings and decision?
No, only that we need to take a vote and that vote needs to be, we need to go through this individually again because we are operating via Zoom. So if you'd like to call a vote through the individual members, I will make the record.
Okay. Okay. And remember, this is a vote not so much on our decision. We've already had that vote, but do we accept the written document before us? Correct, Roger?
That is correct. Does this decision, and I mean, the question is, does this decision accurately reflect what transpired at that hearing and accurately incorporate your viewpoints in terms of your action on that appeal?
Okay, so I will go through the list as the signature blocks are at the end. So I personally, Shane Martin, vote to accept the decision. Gary Noyes?
Vote to accept the decision.
Paula Moore?
Vote to accept the decision.
Paul Smith?
Accept.
Mary Cathcart?
I vote to accept.
Jennifer Jain?
Accept.
Okay, the vote is unanimous to accept the decision.
Okay, I'll give you I'll turn number 2 over to you. Building permit 21004.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the decision as written and circulated?
Yeah,
Move to
vote
accept
to
the decision.
Okay,
Second.
there is a motion by Board Member Moore, and I see a second from
Second.
Board Member Cathcart. Is there any discussion at this time? Okay, there being no discussion, we'll proceed to a vote to accept the decision as written. And as before, I'll go through in the order on the signature block. I vote to accept the decision. Gary Noyes?
Vote to accept.
Paula Moore?
Vote to accept.
Paul Smith?
Accept.
Mary Cathcart?
Accept.
Jennifer Jain?
Accept.
The vote to accept the decision as written is unanimous on the decision regarding permit 21-004.
Okay.
This gets down to the question of the mechanics of the next step, where we need to sign these decisions. Town of Orono, can you speak up as to how you want that physically done?
So we could do this one of two ways that I can think of off the top of my head. The first is we can hold the original documents here and have people contact me and make arrangements to come in and sign them. Those who can't or don't wish to come in, we can come to you and leave a packet for you to sign and then give back to us, or if you don't mind coming out of your home to sign the documents at your house. Either one of those two ways would work for us. And if you can come up with a third way, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. I didn't know if that's what you were asking. I'm fine coming to you.
Well, I think that's, I mean, I think each individual party, and let's say, you know, should have the option of working with the town office to determine how that will be handled. I don't think that needs to be discussed in public. Would you agree, Roger?
I don't think it matters. It just needs to be signed. An original needs to be signed by each of you. I agree with Vice Chair Martin that as long as you know that you can reach out to the town to get that signed, and it probably needs to be done in the next few days. I need to take that original, and a copy needs to be sent to both parties and to the code enforcement officer. So the sooner we can get it done, the better. But in terms of how you individually want to arrange that with the town, I think that's up to you.
Okay, this is a Tuesday, so I don't know what everyone's personal schedules are, but I guess I'd ask that you each reach out to the town of Orono tomorrow, either via phone call or email, to make whatever arrangements you want to do. And if it turns out that the paperwork is going to be making some road trips, if that is going to happen, please contact the town sooner. That way they can plan for that to be handled. And then individuals that are willing to come into the town office can, you know, make their plans so that the paperwork isn't, you know, 10 miles away or something. So that's all I ask, that if you want it brought to you, contact the town sooner rather than later.
Okay.
When you say contact the town, are you talking about contact Nancy or the town office?
I in your panelist, I've put my contact information. It's going to be easiest if you just do that. Nancy is on some medical leave, in and out, so contact me directly. And remember that the town office is not open. It's only open by appointment, so you'd be scheduling an appointment to come in and do that with me. So I think that'd be the best route.
Okay. Yep.
And for those of us that work out of town, are there some times either before 8 or after 5 available?
I'm usually here anytime after 6:30 and usually available till about 5.
Okay.
But I would stay later if you needed that.
Okay.
Just to continue the education, after this point, I will, once I have the signed original signed by all of you, we are required to send a copy to the parties and to the code enforcement officer. I will do that. I will also wrap up the record on appeal into a nice bundle and drop that off with the town clerk, so that in the event one of the parties, either of the parties, anyone who is unhappy with the decision chooses to appeal that to Superior Court, which is their right, the record on appeal will be together and in one place, and that will just be shipped up to the Superior Court And then that Superior Court will review your decision to make certain that it was, let me see if I can name it, to make certain that it wasn't, that it was supported by the decision was supported by substantial evidence in the record, that there were no errors of law, and that you did not abuse your discretion in rendering the decision that you did. But it's out of your hands. Once you sign that decision, it's out of your hands, and we're on to the next appeal.
Mm-hmm. And what should we do with the hard copies that we have of all of this information?
I would drop it off with it if you're not. It's all public. It's public record, so there's no harm in it being thrown in the garbage. But I'm sure that the town would be happy to shred it for you if you wanted to drop that off when you went to sign or handed it to the police officer when they came by your house to get a signature.
Okay.
Either way, I'd leave that up to you.
Recycling is a wonderful thing, Roger. Recycle. Recycle.
I'm sorry, recycle.
Okay,
Wow.
will do.
It is fun sometimes to look back in your old binders from cases from 10 or 15 years ago and, just see what was going on. I would have a question though. Would it be possible for those of us right now, if we're interested, when this meeting adjourns, to drive down to the town office and sign the paperwork? I mean, right now, as soon as we adjourn.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
No,
Roger, can you email me a copy to print? Because I don't have one.
Sure, I can.
I can do that and unlock council chamber doors adjacent to Main Street. So
Okay.
you come right in the council chamber.
All right.
I can do that if I know who to expect.
Yeah,
That works.
expect me.
I'll come, Sophie.
yes, I will too.
I will too. I can go tomorrow morning, but I can't now because the supper is on the stove. So
Yes, mine is too. I'm hoping it'll last.
I don't think my husband will last.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Is there any other business, Roger, or anyone else on the
No,
board?
the only other business is I will draft minutes of this meeting and the last minute and the last meeting for your consideration at your next meeting. You can approve the next minutes the next time you meet.
Okay.
All right?
I will
Wait
be
a-
down also.
Wait a minute. Who's going to meet at the next meeting?
It hasn't been scheduled yet, but when it is, you'll have a couple of minutes to approve.
Now we might want to consider popping in. Okay. Now, if we scheduled another meeting as soon as you had those minutes approved, would we have to would that just put it to an end in case, because we might not have another meeting for 2 or 3 years.
Well, if something doesn't come up soon, I will make sure that it gets to you and you can approve those minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll just keep track. I mean,
Right.
yeah. I mean, you've done what you need to do for the appeal and for the decision itself. The minutes are just bookkeeping for you and for the town. So
Okay.
let's get the parties on their way.
All right.
All right.
So,
Yep. See you guys soon.
All right.
You need to
Without
close.
objection, I will call the meeting adjourned at this time.
So move.
So moved.
All in favor, yes.
Yes.
Great work, team. Great work.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.